Live from Waterford and the Virgin Media Broadband Studio in Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Eimear McKeown. Today's top stories. A former manager of Waterford Airport was one of the men killed in yesterday's plane crash in Wexford. The Taoiseach says tomorrow's budget will be about limiting risk to the economy. Jobs boost for Waterford as EY announces it's expanding its office here. And in sport, Rathgormack and Balnacorty qualify for the county senior football final. A former manager of Waterford Airport was one of the men who lost his life in a plane crash in County Wexford yesterday evening. Peter Taws from County Wexford and John Finan from County Kildare died when their light plane came down near Duncormac shortly before 6 p.m. They had taken off from Timon Airfield approximately 15 minutes before the crash. Waterford businessman Porrick O'Griefa says he knew Peter Taws well.
I mean, he had Jet A1 in his veins, not blood. He loved aviation. He was an aerosexual, as they call him. Loved the whole business, and but a gentleman. I mean, such a nice man. English originally, and lovely man. Lived around the New Ross area, as far as I remember. I don't know how many years he was there, but it seemed like forever he was in charge of the airport.
Air investigators are at the scene of the crash today. Porrick Byrne, reporter with the Wexford People, spoke to Damien Tiernan on Daisha today.
The air investigators, I believe, are seeking to talk to any eyewitnesses that may have seen any of the plane getting in any difficulty or anything like that. They're seeking to talk to people in the local area who may have seen anything at all.
Final negotiations around Budget 2020 are ongoing ahead of tomorrow's announcement. The Taoiseach has said it will be a Brexit budget aimed at protecting the progress made in recent years. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe has more.
Last year's budget was dubbed the extra £5 a week for everyone. That's going to seem generous compared with this year's plan from Paschal Donohoe as the spectre of a no-deal Brexit looms. The key word from Fine Gael and Leo Varadkar today: prudence.
There are enormous risks and challenges in the global economy at the moment. Not just from Brexit, also evidence of a slowdown in big economies like Germany.
5 Fine Gael backbenchers were sent to face the media this morning, insisted they know not Paschal Donohoe's final plans, but announcing what they want to see anyway, including Marcella Corcoran-Kennedy, who says the revenue from increased carbon taxes needs to be used right.
The just transition impact on the workers in Bord na Móna and indeed other peat workers must be to the top priority of considerations.
Carbon taxes mean likely about an extra 2 cents onto a litre of petrol or diesel, and that oil and coal and briquettes are going to cost more. The Help to Buy scheme for first-time buyers also is likely to be extended but tinkered with, and there likely won't be any significant rise in social welfare payments or blanket tax cuts, but more targeted schemes for vulnerable people and more spending on areas like childcare. Sean Defoe, Leinster House.
Meanwhile, a Waterford councillor says he hopes to see funding for major Waterford projects included in tomorrow's budget. Joe Conway says the North Quays development needs certainty.
I'd like to see a full and final confirmation and delivery of the monies that have been allocated from central funds for the North Quays. I think everybody is permeated with a little sense of unease about one problem or another, and I don't in any way want to be a naysayer about it, because I think there's enough of that going on. I have complete confidence that that will be delivered and will be a great boon to the city, but as soon as possible, and I'd like to see that commitment in the budget.
The independent councillor says major roads infrastructure needs investment badly.
I'd like to see more development of the road infrastructure from Waterford to the 2 other major southern cities, Limerick and Cork. I think the road to Cork has been upgraded a lot in the last 12 months, but there's a big problem with having to go through smaller towns, and these need to be bypassed. Talking about places like Castlemartyr and Killa. And then the N24, statistically, I think it's the most dangerous national primary route in the country. Out of the 8 black spots that are listed by the National Roads Authority, 3 out of 8 are on that N24.
A professional services company with an office in Waterford is hiring more people. EY has announced 600 jobs across the country over the next year. 366 of the roles will be based at its 2 offices in the capital, while 234 roles will be spread across its offices in Waterford, Cork, Limerick, Galway and Belfast. The jobs are in the areas of technology, corporate finance, business advisory, tax and accountancy. Frank O'Keefe, managing partner with EY, says balanced regional development is key.
We in EY believe that that's a critical issue. It's a critical issue to give talent the opportunity to work wherever they want to reside on the island of Ireland. We think about a number of things. Technology allows that to happen. Our office network, 10 offices in 6 cities across the island of Ireland, also makes that happen.
Gardaí say the main road from Ballin Road to Garranbane is closed at the moment following an accident. It's understood a car crashed at the turn-off from Ballin Road coming into Dungarvan. One person has been taken to hospital. Diversions are in operation. Around 120 people are still without electricity after a large fault occurred in the east of the city this morning. The fault at Kilcara happened just before 6 a.m. and affected almost 2,000 customers. ESB Networks has restored power to most of the household. It says it's currently working to repair the fault. UK tourists aren't visiting the South East. That's according to the Irish Hotels Federation. The organisation says 57% of hotels around the country have seen a fall in business compared to this time last year, while 78% have seen a decrease in business from Britain. Tourism in Waterford supports 6,300 jobs and contributes €138 million to the local economy annually. Chair of the South East branch of the Irish Hotels Federation, Colm Neville, says they're engaging with Tourism Ireland and Fáilte Ireland.
Over the last 2 and 3 years, we've had a greater focus on the continental Europe market and on the American market, and with some success. Those markets have grown for sure, but nonetheless, our very biggest market and the customer that gets us the most is going to be the UK market, and we've seen that decimated over the last 2 and 3 years, whether it's been because of the sterling exchange rate or whether it's just a fear of their future themselves, I suppose. I'm not so sure that they're travelling. They're certainly not coming to the southeast.
Protesters are gathering outside Leinster House ahead of a planned demonstration by Extinction Rebellion this lunchtime. Climate change activists are meeting outside the Dáil before walking to an unknown location on the south side of the city. The group aims to peacefully shut down roads in central Dublin and disrupt the government until action is taken on climate change. The 7th annual Light Up Teal event takes place in Waterford tonight to highlight the condition of trigeminal neuralgia. The Tower Hotel in Waterford have agreed to light up the bottom windows of the hotel in teal, and people are asked to attend at 7:45pm for a photo on the steps of the hotel. The event in Waterford will join over 300 buildings worldwide in lighting up teal. The condition is very rare and affects over 1,000 sufferers in Ireland.
WLR Sport.
Very good afternoon at the Sports Desk. I'm Gavin Whelan. Starting with news of rugby, and Ireland front row Jordy Murphy says they're ready to get back down to work at the World Cup this week following 2 disappointing outings in the last 5 days. Last week the squad returned to training today in Japan ahead of the crucial meeting with Samoa on Saturday. Murphy took a limited part in training after picking up a rib injury last week, but will return to full training by Thursday. He says their weekend off has given them a chance to recharge the batteries.
Like a lot of parts of the game we definitely can do better on, but look, we got a win and 5 points, and we're going into this weekend now optimistic, and there's a big challenge ahead of us, but we're all very positive, and especially after a couple of days off, I think that's probably the best thing that could have happened to the group, was to get a couple of days off to clear the head, especially in a tournament like this where it's just rugby 24/7, for people to just be able to get away and have different options and things to do was great. And I really noticed that today when I was watching on training, just kind of energy and desire from all the boys, and really looking forward to this weekend.
Gaelic games next, and Balnacourty and Rathgormack will meet in the County Senior Football Championship final for the very first time on the 20th of October. Rathgormack reached the decider for the first time in 18 years after a dominant 14-8 win over Stradbally. Conor Murray kicked 4 points from play, while Paddy Hunt made a vital penalty save from Kevin Lawler. Manager Ger Power believes that his young team is starting to come of age.
I think just the lads have grown. You know, the lads are still very young. As I said, we're still developing. The lads are very young. I mean, there's only 3 players in the whole group over 25, you know, but they're still very young. You know, people are saying it's time for us to move on. It is time for us to move on now. It's time for us to start stepping up now. But we're delighted to be in the final, and you know, for us it's all about progressing again and pushing on and trying to improve things another little bit.
Balnacourty are back in the final after a 3-year absence. They got 5 of the last 6 points to end the Nyers' reign as county champions. 16 points to 1-9 it ended. In Fairfield, David Luby converting 7 frees, while Neil Montgomery struck 3 from play. As Shane O'Mara penalty hit the post for the Nyre with 10 minutes left. Dylan Gowrie raised their green flag in the 6th minute. You can catch full interviews with Ger Power and Peter Queally, the winning managers, on this evening's On the Ball just after 6 here on WLR. Meanwhile, All-Ireland football champions Dublin will begin their 2020 championship campaign against Westmeath. The draw was made this morning for the Leinster Senior Football Championship as Dublin go in search of an unprecedented 10 in a row in the province. They're straight into the quarter-finals along with Westmeath, who have received a bye. The winner of that could face Jack O'Connor's Kildare in the last 4. They will take on Carlow or Offaly in the quarter-finals. To news of soccer, the Republic of Ireland squad get preparations underway today ahead of their Euro 2020 qualifiers with Georgia and Switzerland. Aaron Connolly and Derek Williams will train with the group after being called into the squad over the weekend. Mick McCarthy has also said he's monitoring the fitness of Shane Duffy and David McColdrick ahead of the upcoming games against Georgia and Switzerland. Next to news of show jumping, and Waterford's and Colligan native Peter Maloney helped Ireland secure qualification for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics yesterday. The first time Ireland will be appearing at the Games since Athens in 2004. They secured Nations Cup victory as well on an unforgettable day in Barcelona yesterday afternoon. Peter Maloney spoke to WLR Sport this morning and said it's still sinking in what they've achieved.
Yeah, just starting to sink in now. It's a fantastic day. We've been working towards this all year. Unfortunately, our main goal is at the European Championships this year to qualify, and it didn't go to plan for us, so all the focus was on Barcelona this week, and everyone pulled together and worked really hard to get it done, and thank God we got it done,
Absolutely phenomenal success indeed. Well done to Peter Maloney, and you can catch the full interview with Peter on our On The Ball show this evening just after 6 o'clock here on WLR. An Irish soccer legend, John O'Shea, was given honorary life membership from Waterford Golf Club at a unique function yesterday. He was delighted to pick it up yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, fantastic. Obviously I've been in touch with people from the golf club for a good while, trying to arrange to get something, and Eamon, the current captain, got in touch, and we managed to get something sorted for today. So no, look, it's an amazing honour and really appreciate it, because you see they don't kind of give out these things every couple of months type of thing. So to receive it from your kind of local golf club where I grew up as well, not too far away, so very, very special honour, and delighted to receive it.
And in racing, there's a 7-race jumps card at Tipperary this afternoon. The first come to post shortly at 2:05. That's the latest on WLR. Our next bulletin is